Loaded up and truckin'. Well, if there's a more redneck name for beer than that, I don't even want to know what it is. And this is from a local brewery, local product, Magnetic South. Very eastbound and down, Danny McBride looking characters on the side here. And it is a West Coast IPA. You know what I always say, Westy is bestie. We'll see how bestie this is. If you want to unleash your inner redneck, I'll let you know how to get some merch from the Cowboy Revolution brand. And we'll find out just how much I can load up in truck right after the theme song. Welcome back to the Upstate Studio with your Showing Nutmeg 2 Palmetto. And you know what I always say, Westy is bestie. And this particular can, a local product from a local brewery, of which I like to consider the brain trust there to be friends of mine, especially in this beer space that I've created. Well, joined, whatever. I didn't create the beer space, I created my beer space. Anyway, they're still friends. So, I feature one of their products, and it is Loaded Up and Truckin'. Tell me that name and this can art couldn't be any more redneck. Speaking of redneck, some people may call Cowboys redneck. And if you want to rock the Cowboy Revolution brand, head on down to the description below, click the link, and use the code NUTMEG15. That is NUTMEG15, NUTMEG15 for everyone in the back, to get a 15% discount off at checkout from anything on the Cowboy Revolution shop. So, this is obviously a very intricate, very particular, specific can design, so let's get a closer look of it on a trip around Canada on the Shane Cam. So as you can see, it's very much a Danny McBride, Eastbound and Down themed characters on it. The one in the front, he has his baseball jersey with Danny McBride's character. Chad? No. Thinking of my podcast I did recently for Chad Powers. No. Kenny Powers. Thank you. Wrong Powers. Very Kenny Powers looking. He was on a baseball team in that show, and then he's on a jet ski in the back. I actually didn't watch Eastbound and Down, so I don't know if that's a true Eastbound and Down reference. I assume it is. Loaded Up and Truckin' is a West Coast IPA at 7.4%, so nice hearty gravity. The date is, there's the date on there, 5/19/25, with a note on the bottom that says righteous. So 5/19, it's under 5 months at the time I'm drinking it. Obviously, that's a little long for an IPA, but at the same time, I've kept it nice and cold, and I've also had it a few times before. On Untapped, 308 total, 289 unique, 264 ranked, 3.81, so not far off of 4. West Coast Style IPA, notes of resin and pine, dank aftertaste, and assertive bitterness, formerly known as Westbound Down. I am pretty sure, and it also could have been the case of one of these that I brought to either Niagara Falls or Chicago for BrewTubers Get Together, that Westbound and Down was the name of the beer when I gave it to, I think TK got it. Not sure. Somebody I know at one of, if not both of those BrewTuber Get Togethers got this beer, and it may have actually been called that, Westbound and Down. Obviously, a more direct one-to-one reference to Kenny Powers, Danny McBride's show, Eastbound and Down. Looking at the colors, one of them, I don't know what's going on with that one, because there's floaties as fuck in there. And the other two have a bit more of that malty hue to it. So it's a bit more of that old school traditional West Coast IPA, it's seemingly. And I want to say it's kind of comparable to that from what I've had in the past. I've had it a few times, but you know, there's a lot of beers in between. So I'm going to refresh my memory, and as always, we do our ode to one flight down with a shakluk. Did that explode on me or not? I'm not entirely sure. I kind of like blinked or winced because I was expecting it to. 'Hard pour, you know where you're at. I know I'm not using appropriate glassware, but I haven't drank out of my Hazelwood glass in a while, so I would like to drink out of my Hazelwood glass. And that's interestingly enough, because that does not have that darker malty hue. There is one picture that does look like that, and the one with the floaties actually looks like that as well, but there's obviously no floaties in that, and it's clear as clear. It's almost clear as clear can be. There's a cloud to it, but it's clear-ish. So I definitely no floaties. Thank goodness. So nah, definitely not a diaper white head. That is pretty eggshell, off-white. White gets through it. Like I said, for a cloudy beer, the light gets through that pretty easily. Like I could kind of see the bottom of the glass. I can kind of see the reverse side of this little ridge around the bottom of the glass. So it's definitely got more of a yellowish tint, yellowish hue to it. It's not quite that copper orange, and that's certainly a welcome sight to my eyes because I don't like those copperish crystal malt type of colored Westies. Let's get the aromatics. You don't want to hear me babbling all the time. It has that raw orange aroma from the West Coast, but it's a little faint. There's a sweetness in there. Raw, citrusy, sweet. Grapefruity even. I'll go as far as saying that. But yeah, very, very, very subtle. So let's see if the flavor, and I think if memory serves, it does. Let's see if the flavor can amp up what I get out of the flavor. Cheers, everyone. First of all, the flavor is definitely stronger than the aroma. It does have those sharp, I don't want to say sharp, those piney, resinous notes to it. It gets a little stronger as it sits in the palate and goes through the finish. Not very strong up front. So it doesn't punch you in the teeth right away, but it kind of grows and gets a little stronger. It sits there. As it mellows out, it really doesn't die off, so it's kind of like slow to start, grows, and holds. The notes are definitely there. It's kind of like a balance between a hop forward and a malt forward. Definitely more hoppy than malty, but it's a little bit balanced between the two because it definitely has that strong resinous quality to it. Tasty as always. For some reason, I feel like the recipe must be tweaked because I feel like every time I've had this, it tastes a little bit different. There was one, though, I think the last time I had it, it had more of a malty quality to it. And this one is coming back to a more cleaner, hoppy, piney, pure pine presence, for sure. Say that 16 times fast. Pure piney presence. Anyway, get your inner cowboy on, head on down to the description below, click the link, use code Nutmeg15. That's Nutmeg15, Nutmeg15 for a 50% discount off anything from the Cowboy Revolution brand. And get your redneck on, get your pine on, load up that truck, I guess. Cheers, everyone. See you next time.